Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm going to be demonstrating this center finding tool for, this is on a mini lathe right now, but I think with some adjustments you could use it for many other types of lathes, as long as they're a metal lathe, of course. And the first thing I'm doing here, where I'm indicating where my finger is, showing you with a piece of feeler gauge in between the new tool and our chuck here, and we have a tool in here to indicate that we're nice and straight on our gauge there. So that's how after you build one of these, you would be initially setting it up with something like this. I'm just using a piece of feeler gauge, a little block to keep it up there, and then I'll just take this plate that I had out of here. I'll take that out for now. And so we've already set it at center right here. Now we're going to be just turning the tool around this way, and we'll bring our tool in. And I've already set this right to, hopefully you can see that, right here. And you can actually feel over the top and feel that there's no burr on it. So you know and then you adjust this, you set it in here, and you just kind of adjust your nut on your quick change post here until you can just feel that there's no burr on there. That's one way, and you can eyeball it, get down and look at it from the side. But it's set really good, and I've checked it. It's performing really well. It's cutting good when I've cut stuff with it. The other thing you can check with this is your let me go back here. You can just check your height on your tailstock, also on your points here, and see how close that is there. Let me get a little bit of, my finger was in the way, causing a little bit. But see, you can check your tailstock and make sure it's at the right height too. Change, adjusting the tailstock's a whole different thing. Just lowering it higher, and that's kind of a difficult thing to do. So anyway, again, I wanted to just kind of show you what the tool looks like in this form. This is how I've sort of, I had to tweak it a little bit to get it to fit in, because with the full size, it was just too big to get in and out of here on the smaller lathe, on the small, just for a smaller lathe. So what we did on this is, if you can see, I've cut off, I don't know, about ½ inch off of this side, and this is called a drawing line ruler. So that was cut off, and then on the back, this part's cut off. Focus there. This part was cut off. And then we attached from the bottom, we attached this 1/4 inch by 3 inch by 3 inch piece of flat bar. I think it's just mild steel. You don't need any hardened steel for this job. And that's just to get it to fit on here, and still having room to get this to work in here. If it's too big, it's hard to get over to your tool in here. So so that's, and then adjusting this is, it's got a get this focused. It's got a really nice big turn wheel to lock it in position, so it ain't going to move around on you. Once you've set it, it should stay pretty solid. I mean, so the nice thing about this is whenever you're going to put a new tool in, once you've set it here at your tailstock, you just slide this up into here, and you're always going to have a nice flat spot. You can just tell that you're lined up really well to start cutting with any tool, or you ever changing a tool. And I think that covers that part of it. I think that's pretty good. Now I'll show you I did buy both of these parts again, and what I did was put tape across here to hold it together temporarily just for this demonstration. So you can see again, I've even marked a line here, if you can see it that well, of how much I cut off right here. Maybe you can't see it. The lighting's a little bad. And then on this side, it's going to be cut. Let me use a little bit of a ruler here. You're going to be cutting just for the mini lathe. You'll be cutting off this part of the drawing line part of it. You'll be cutting that off just to have more room. Now on a bigger lathe, you may be able to just either bolt this onto a piece of metal, or you could stack some bars up here to get it to be up higher. See, for another type of bigger lathe, you can see how much higher this is. I think you can see it from that angle. But anyway, we've just raised it up an inch very easily. For this is, I only did this cutting it down just for the mini lathe. And so I think you can see on here, if I compare the two together, if I can get them in the same shot, I think you can see where I put the screws in. My hand's covering part of it here. But there's a screw here and a screw there that you have to drill through. That they're 4mm socket heads is what I used on it to hold it together. And so, yeah, so once again, it's going to be two parts. And this is this part back here. Get it focused. This part back here, the black part that you see that has the gauge part on it, that has the thumb wheel, that is actually a table saw gauge. That's what it was made for, but it's not anymore. It's a centering tool finder now. So I hope this is a tool that anybody who has a lathe would want to make, and it's probably the most difficult part will be is if you're going to use it for the mini lathe. I cut this part off here with my bandsaw and just slid it through there, and then I put it on my disc sander to get these areas flat. And then I did make a piece of channel to go over the this part that's sticking out. It just didn't look so good with it that way. So I just made a little. This is 3/8. It's a little bit loose, you can see, but by let me show you this just a second here. I used one of these sheet metal benders and just crimped it in there so it fit good, and then it was just a matter of, once it's on there, it's just drilling. Let's see what I used on here. Let me show you this again. Hold on a second. So yeah, back on here, I used on these two screws, that focused, on these two screws I used some 440 stainless steel pan heads on here. I didn't really want to have the socket heads kind of sticking out on this part of the tool. And this makes a nice handle to hold it through where your fingers go through, so you can actually pick it up through here also. And then once you've made this, you can just put it away. Like I just keep it up on the shelf up here, and it's always going to be set the way you set it. So it's kind of a one-time once you make the thing. And I wanted to show you the actual another second here. Got a lot of things to think about. So let me get that out of there. So hopefully you can see this. Let me get that on there for you. So here is the back part of the tool that has the adjustment knob on there. Is called a table saw height gauge, and it's $17.99 for that part. And the other part that we'll be using, hope you can see this well. This is all on Amazon, and this is called, they call it an Imperial 3D multi-angle measuring ruler, and it's $9.99. So your total cost here is going to be, $30 right around with tax, maybe $32. That's for the two main parts. Then you'll have some screws. They do provide two of the screws, but for the other part that I cut off, you're still going to have to, get a couple of screws there. And then whatever base plate, like I said, I used this mild steel 3x3 by 1/4, and it fits right in the bed so perfectly. For this, if you have a bigger bed, you might get a 6x6 piece of 1/4 inch, or if you wanted to go bigger, you can always block it up with any kind of blocks if you needed to go higher. And if you had to go lower, unless you have a really small lathe, if you had to go lower, then there's plenty of adjustment on here to go lower. You can see this. We're almost at the top of where this slide goes. It goes another 1/2 inch maybe up here at the top. So if it had to go down smaller, you got plenty of room. You got over probably 3 inches in here of travel to go down with it there. Okay, I think that's all I need to tell you today about this. I'm looking forward to having some people give me some comments about this, and if you have any questions about putting it together or anything else, please leave me some comments on this. I'd really like to see one of these, something like this. If somebody has a better one, that's cool too. Let me see that. But I'd really like to see everybody who has a lathe have one of these. I think you'd really like it. Well, thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye.